everyone. How are you doing? We are just a little bit late, but hey, time is relative. Hello, Trisha. How are you doing?
Hi, Wayne. I'm great, thank you.
Always good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you. I love being on with you.
Let me
It's
ask
like,
you something. Can everyone hear me just fine? We're in the chat room now. I'm just the reason why I'm asking is I got a new mic. So
I thought
yeah,
that looked different. I heard you say you were getting one. I was like,
yeah.
that looks
And
different to normal.
this thing is so sensitive, it can hear you to change your mind. It really does. It's like, woo. So, Trisha, how are you?
Do you know, I'm feeling great now. 2018 has just, I had in my mind 2018 is going to be brilliant. I know it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be things happen, but I felt really like New Year's Eve before we started the show all together. I was like, I'm ready for 2018. And I just feel really positive about 2018. And it's not every year I go in saying this is going to be a great year, because I don't know, not because I'm negative. But I was really positive about this year.
I think
Year
that
11.
energy is increasing. I tell you, and I think it's going to have a two-way effect. I think those who are ready for it, seeking it, boom, going to be there. Those who are not,
are going to really, I felt this as I was talking about it 2017, months before the end of the year. If you're not ready or you're not prepared to grow, because it's a huge year for personal development. That's what I say to anybody watching. A year 11 is personal development's good all the time, but it is a year to really go for it and not stay scared of change. Don't be scared of really going for it this year. It's all about enlightenment, empowerment. And I felt that if people aren't prepared, they're going to struggle. Like in the year 9 we had, what was it, 2016, when we lost a lot of people. There was a lot of famous people, wasn't there, died in 2016. Like, it seemed like more than average, because it was a year of endings. It was like people that weren't prepared to ascend, to change, to go with the times. It's like, I've had enough, I'm checking out.
So what are you sensing right now is what we're halfway into the first month of the year. I think when we did the mirror awareness campaign, I just want to tell you, Trisha, you and I haven't had a chance to talk, but people, you saw last night the thick bundle of, in fact, I got them right here. Took them to bed with me, didn't get through them all.
I heard you said you got 30 odd emails.
Yeah, and even more this morning. So we did something. And I'm curious, do you think that we could see that in the numbers as well, that there is something that we tapped into? Something positive?
Yeah, interesting. How many emails did you get out of interest? Did you count?
That experiment, I typically get about 100 emails a day. On that one, my inbox had well over 200 emails just from people not telling me their story, just wanting to do it again.
Yeah.
Wanting to do it again.
Well, mirror work's really important, isn't it? Louise Hay, I don't know if you know about Louise Hay. She was a life path number 9, like we are. She passed away, I think it was last year. She was huge. She created Hay House Radio, Hay House Publishing. She talks about mirror work, where you look into the mirror and and it's learning to love and accept yourself. I know what you did was even like deeper, but there is a big thing to do in mirror work. If you can't look yourself in the mirror, because a lot of people can't, they look away.
That's true.
They can't look at themselves for a couple of seconds and be able to say, I love you, as in not in an ego vain way, but I truly love you for who you are. Whatever you look like, you're loving yourself and accepting yourself. And she was huge on mirror work.
Can I just say something? You said something that I said to myself this morning. I practice it every morning now. And you said about loving ourselves. And that is what I am telling myself. It's a weird experience. I mean, But it is true that when you get past the facade, the, what I say that we can, everyone sees, when you just get a millimeter below that, holy cow.
Yeah, because also I'm getting goosebumps when you say that. Your cells are listening. Like if you say, you might not be voicing it, you might be thinking it, I hate myself, I feel ugly, I feel this, I feel it. Your cells in your body are listening. And that's why people get cancer. And I'm not saying you brought it on, but your body reacts. So when you say loving words to yourself and truly mean it, your body is you're going to look younger, you're going to feel younger, you're going to look healthier, you're going to be healthier. Dr. Emoto did it with the experiment with the ice crystals. Do you know about his work?
Someone sent me an email. Isn't it where he spoke positive, negative, and there was a result in the formation of the crystalline?
Yeah, the crystals were beautiful, that had love said to them, loving words. But when he said like hate, because people do hate them. There are people that hate themselves, and they went black and all like it was just like something had gone rotten. So that's what's happening to your body when you look in the mirror and say, "Oh, I hate myself today," or "I think I look ugly." You are affecting your body.
Wow, you see, that is profound, folks. If that's only that we did nothing else,
Yeah.
then Trisha, I think that we have given a gift to humanity that can grow on that. The thing is that, folks, I'll just, this, I lay hands on myself every morning. I speak to every cell in my body and I tell them that they are healthy, they are thriving, increased stamina. And the thing about it is when I'm doing the mirror awareness now, I'm laughing. I'm laughing at myself. And
Yeah.
it's a fun laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
because I know that this is temporary.
Yeah.
And now I got to tell you, Trisha, I'm really digging the trip
Yeah.
of life.
That's great because so many people aren't. So many people are just so unhappy. And it's like, it's really starting to stand out to me more and more. The more you work on yourself and you raise your vibration, you start to see, and it's no judgment on anybody, but you see the people that aren't, and you can, even if they're pretending, you can tell that they're really not at
Yeah.
that place. And us as number nines, you see, this is what, and we're here to serve humanity. We're here to teach. We're spiritual teachers. We're spiritual leaders because me and you got the same life path.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. So even, you're here to reach the masses, which, you're doing, and, it's getting bigger and bigger. And that's what you were meant for.
Well, I know our community, and it's no longer an audience. We are really growing, and um, I think you're right. It's the life path of a nine.
It is.
Now, I don't know if most people really truly understand those life paths. We did some very cursory readings for people last time, and are you up for doing that again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'll let you take it, madam, because you have the floor. By the
Yeah.
way, I just want to say something before you get started, Trisha. I am starting a company,
Right.
and you and I will talk later. I also want to put this out now. If you are in fact a empath, if you are an intuitive, you have psychic ability that you can show and you can prove, let me know and we will in the future be talking to you. So Trisha, we're going to be talking later, but anyway, what would you like from the people so we can get? I just want to say a quick hello to Raven Wolf Channel, Steve Collins. Thank you, Davey, for moderating. Gary Baxter, hello. How are you doing? Trisha, people are growing in the room and it's expanding as I speak. So now I'll shut up.
It's so funny because last night I didn't realize. I don't know if David changed because he used to be David, changed his name, and he's a moderator in my room. I didn't realize it was him. I thought it was a woman.
Who is that masked man?
He took it in good spirits. It was quite funny. I was like,
Davey is the best, folks. So we're going to have him back on probably
he's
next
in the UK.
Tuesday.
I think he's in Scotland, isn't he?
He's in Scotland. So how far is that from you?
Quite a way, depending how far north he is. It's probably 500 miles, maybe.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That
I've
would
got
be,
relatives in Scotland, actually, and I've never been.
it looks beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful part of the country. It's way up the top of the UK.
Yeah. It's like Davy, he's got snow up there.
Yeah.
We got no snow here. So send it our way, would you?
I love snow. I mean, we haven't got snow. It's just been raining here, but yeah, they often do get the snow where they are because
Now, do you get snow in your part of the country?
we had a little bit for about a day or so, and then that's it this year. We've not had any more.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, I'll give you my weather report when I came in. It was like 5 degrees, I think. But the chemtrailing is nuts today, folks. It is like playing tic-tac-toe over my house. And I guess X marks the spot, Trisha.
I was thinking about that about because I used to be a meteorologist, and I was saying to Heidi, 'cause you're often talking about clouds and things, and all these new clouds that have supposedly come out.
Yeah, what is up with that?
I
I'll
don't know.
let you finish your sentence
I'm not
on that.
about that, but I was going to say it was interesting about the number 9. There's originally 27 different cloud types. And I was like, there's the number 9 again. And then Heidi's channel 27 was like, why 27 cloud types? Quite interesting. But for decades, that's all there's 9 lower, 9 medium, and 9 upper.
Yeah. And now that balance has gotten unbalanced.
Yeah, they've changed it. I haven't really looked into it. I did see it briefly, and I was like, whoa, what is going on? Are these real, or is this just made up?
Is it a matrix? I mean, at times. So how do we get new clouds that we never saw before? I mean, you are a trained meteorologist, so your opinion counts.
Yeah, I mean, we had to learn, obviously, the 9 different types at the different levels, the heights. So you'd go out every hour, because where I worked in Cornwall, it was the biggest helicopter in Europe. It was the training base for the pilots,
Okay.
helicopters. So it's the biggest one in Europe. So a lot used to come, even American, from America, different countries. So we had to go out every hour and observe the cloud base, what level it was. So you had to learn, the heights. So you learned all the heights, you learned whether it was low, medium, upper. Then you had to decipher the type. Then you had to code it. It was a lot to learn. I look back and think, I don't know how I did that, but you just do, I guess. It's repetitive. A lot of it is repetition, but you do have to learn how to decipher the difference. It's quite ironic I've got clouds.
I was going to say, can we define those, please?
Scratch's idea, actually. I remember I saying, I need an idea for the new year, something that fits me. And he said, how about stars? I'm sure it was Scratch. And this is the only one I could find with stars on it and actually clouds and things. So
way to go, Scratch. You'd be the man.
He's a number 7, so he's very psychic himself. He doesn't probably admit it, but.
So here we are, number 9. I am seeing it everywhere. I'm doing research, as you know, on the Disclosure Project and trying to tie all these ends together. And Trisha, do you know what I have found in the research? And I forgot to bring the book, but 9. Apparently these EBEs, 9 is very important.
Right. What are EBEs? Sorry if I sound.
Oh, those are the extraterrestrials,
right,
the aliens. Okay. Yeah. But 9 seems to be a prime number that is based on much of, I don't know if you would call it their belief systems or if it's actually how they construct their view of the universe.
Interesting.
So 9.
Aliens, Wayne. We're in disguise.
Hey, I've been called worse. Yeah, so I think an alien would actually be a grade up.
Yeah, I've actually.
I kid. Yeah. So let's talk about 9s. And, people, here's the time to start coming in and
what they can leave is that just to so they can start leaving for you. All I need, because we won't look at names, because normally if you have a full report, I look at your birth names.
Yeah, there's a whole process to this, folks.
I just want your date of birth, but put the month, like
okay.
For me, 19th of June, 73. So make sure you maybe write the month, because if it's the other way around, it won't make your life path number wrong, but I'll get your wrong birthday number, and it just, So.
Sure. Sure. And
If you,
by the way, I just want to tell everyone there, this is as much to me as science is, what they try to say of a religious belief or a philosophical belief. Numbers count, Trisha. They really do in our lives.
numbers are everywhere. They're linked to everything in our lives.
Yeah,
Whether it's flowers, the amount of petals you get on a flower. Everything's made up of numbers, and it is a science. Numerology is a science.
it is.
I think that's why a lot of men like it. Like I've always had male clients, but I've had so many more since coming on YouTube. So
Really?
many more. Yeah, it's like before I would say I had probably 10% males, but now it's probably about 30% maybe.
Okay.
All my clients are males.
I need to be paying attention here and still thinking. So I don't know if you get this over in the UK, but there is a sitcom here called Young Sheldon. It's based off the character of The Big Bang Theory.
Oh yeah, I know you mean. My son used to watch that.
Okay, so my wife tapes it for me, and I'll watch it much later. I have to tell you, so young Sheldon, who is a gifted genius and sees numbers when he closes his eyes, and anyway, he studied the world religions, Trisha, and came down to the conclusion of this. He was going to start his own religion called mathology. And the only sin is stupidity. So I digress, folks. So here we go.
But you were
Are
going
you
to say
looking at
something
the?
about the number nine till I interrupted you.
Yeah, go ahead.
You were going to say something about the number nine, and I just
Oh,
interrupted you, didn't I?
yeah. Was the fact that it seems to be the number of completion. Am I right or wrong on that?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, thank
it is.
you. That's what I wanted to bring the point out to.
Yeah. So, it makes me wonder as there's life path number nines, and there's many that are probably in the chat room, many that come in mine, the number nines. I seem to attract them into my life, and I usually instantly get on with them, men or women. It makes me wonder, will we come back again? I don't know about, is it like we've come to the end? Is this our last incarnation? I don't know. I'm not an expert on that sort of thing, because we're supposed to be, anybody in the chat room that's number nine, you're born wise, you're born evolved, it's like things, with the old souls of the world. So it's like we're knowledgeable from, I don't know if you felt this way, but I often think why does nobody else know this? You've got to be a bit careful, because it's not that you mean to be like that, but it's like, why can't anybody else see things the way I'm seeing it, about the way you treat people, about, kindness, and, it
I
just,
think it's like tuning into a frequency, Trisha. If you're not in tune to it, then you're completely unaware of it.
yeah. And that's why I wondered, nines particularly, since, they are tuned into it, they care about humanity, they care about animal abuse, child abuse. I can't stand bullying. I can't stand, anything like that. And I've been like that from a very young age.
I'm right there with you. I know, you see, I refuse to accept what I've learned from you and others. I mean, Heidi, there's just a list I can talk about. Everyone contributes to my ascension.
Mm.
And there is within us, Trisha, this thread that we can build on. And I'm finding that many have just been aware. Let me tell you about people gifted such as yourself, who are spiritual numerologists, who know this, who have the gifting for it. Is this. I think that we as a species have been lied to and robbed because we have not pursued the gifts that you and others have.
Mm.
Think what it would do for us from a political. Think if politicians would begin to look at numbers instead of seeing us merely as a dollar sign, but these are people, and begin to understand how certain things work. Medical science, start taking in what a person's life path is.
Yeah. Do you know, and then talking about politics, I've not delved exactly into every president or prime minister, but I've never so far, and there may be one, I haven't found one that was a number 9. The closest I found was the mayor of the UK, not the current one, but the previous Boris Johnson, has our same birthday, believe it or not. He's the 19th of June.
Is he really?
He is. I was like, oh, that's so funny. And he is a number 9. And that's the closest I've seen a 9 in politics, because we can actually make great politicians, but that we're probably not the type that's going to go for presidency or the prime minister, because we haven't got that cutthroat side to us.
Don't want it.
No.
We're
more activists, where we'll do things, you know, to help other people. And, you know, like Mother Teresa was an activist, but she was a peaceful activist.
I mean, my philosophy is that they've been mind courting us. It's time for us to mind court them.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I've taken this down. I actually have stopped the chat so I can actually get some of the dates here. There is one Trisha, Sherry, Scherry, June 12th, 1953.
Okay. So she's 8. That was a good choice. She's a Gemini number 9.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, the number 9 club. I said that before. I'm going to start a number 9 club.
Oh, that's a good. I'll join.
I said that ages ago. It's quite funny because everybody I seemed to speak to or got friendly with was a 9.
Hey, folks, you know, I just say this, like minds come together. That's all. By the way, just a little digression here, folks, in the chat room. So over in North Korea, if you're allowed to visit, so do you know what they call the guards, the police that actually shadow you and go wherever you go? They're called minders.
Oh, yeah.
I thought to myself, I didn't know that either. Well, someone just gave you a donation there. I'll make sure that you get that. He gave it in pounds. So,
nice. I mean, I'm not looking at the chat, so I can't see anything.
Oh, well, you should come over to the chat.
Yeah, the chat. I don't have a posh accent. I haven't got my...
How's that for a Southerner with a British accent?
That was very posh accent, mate. That's funny.
What?
I don't even speak that posh. I don't speak posh at all.
Neither do I.
There's some northern, like there's accents in the UK that are quite northern, and I guess compared to them, I probably am, but the people more down south and like, not many, some people do speak really posh, but I think some of it is quite, it's almost trained in them. It's not like a natural accent that we're born with. Yeah. But
because there was a time when I'd say, howdy, y'all. All right. So
Sherry's a life path number 9, like Wayne and I. So her path in life, because your life path number is the most important one. You have, I talk about the 6 or 7 core numbers, but when you see your numerology profile, there's so much more to it. So this is literally, for anybody that's not seen this before, scratching the surface. But this is the most important one. This is the challenges you'll face, the path you will, you know, and if you're off the path, life will sort of push you back on it, which it did for me.
Interesting.
Usually at a younger age, like for me, it was, and I don't say this to get pity or nothing like that, but domestic violence got me back on the path because, so it's usually something very, if you're not on it already, something probably quite strong will happen in your life, and you've got a choice of, I'm going to get through this and I'm going to make the best of this, or, you know, you'll just stay stuck.
Isn't it interesting how sometimes the greatest hardships in our life, that they sometimes bring the best reward later?
Yeah, you keep giving me goosebumps waiting tonight. Yeah, because I'll look back on that and it was absolutely horrendous at the time. But I wouldn't be sat here doing this now, because, you know, I wasn't brought up, thankfully I wasn't brought up with religion, but I wasn't brought up as spiritual. My family were very much about making money. They were workaholics, and I'd, you know, So they've given me, to a point, the work ethic. Like I've seen, you know, they've always been self-employed, so I've seen what it takes, you know, and the dedication to, you know, when you're self-employed. But it never sat right with me, some parts of it. Like I was very different. My father always used to say to me, "You're way too kind. You're too kind to people." And I'm like, I don't believe you can be too kind to people.
Yeah.
That was my philosophy anyway. I forget where I was going with this now. So, oh yeah, and he didn't believe in counselling, nothing like that. So when it happened, obviously, I did go for counselling, but I lived away from my family. And it was a Louise Hay book that I mentioned earlier that started me on. It was needing to read something like that about how to heal your life, because she healed herself of cervical cancer with no medication, with no, yeah. So very much, you probably
Wow.
might want to check that book out, How to Heal Your
Yeah.
Life. It's about healing the cells of your body and things like that.
We're going to do a show on cancer, by the way. I think that it's time that I think we're mature enough in this community that we can bring in people like yourself, Trisha, others, Heidi, where we can begin, I think, training the cells in our bodies. We don't understand that.
Yeah, and she, luckily, I don't know, I've got the book on my Kindle as well, and Audible. I probably need a bit of a refresher myself. But, you know, she cut out the negative people in her life, the toxic people in her life. You know, it was a diet, it was everything. She knew she needed to change everything. And forgiveness was, and for us number nines, forgiveness. So Sherry that's listening, she's at least a double nine. So forgiveness is key. Forgiveness is key for everybody, but for number nines, that's one of our biggest life lessons, is forgiveness of those that have hurt us, forgiveness of the ugliness of the world. Because I often sit there, I don't know about you, thinking, how can people treat each other like this? I just don't, you know,
It's true.
I just can't comprehend. I've never even hit my son in my life. He's 19. I never even smacked him as a baby. I just, you know, things like that are very close to my heart, about child abuse and animal abuse. You know, I just think, how can somebody, even if you're angry, and here comes my cat, sorry,
Hello.
Alaska.
Hello.
Can you say
Hello,
hello?
Oscar. Hello, kitty, 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 kitty. Hello, kitty, 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 kitty.
Oh, look, she's looking.
Hello, beautiful. Kitty, 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 kitty.
She's a number nine too.
Ah, you see, I love this. You know, and speaking about kindness, you know, I was a child, a victim of, you know, my dad literally beat me almost to death. And
See, I'm getting emotional just hearing that, because I
yeah,
just
but
can't.
you know, once my body healed up, once I learned how to walk, and then going into a state home where every child there is there because they are abused. And I saw it from the babies that were less than a month old that had cigarette burns in them to, you know, teenagers. And at the age of 17, they just cut you loose. Um, and I saw so much hurt. And I saw how people, Trisha, reacted to that, children.
Yeah,
And, you know, living in that environment, it could almost be like, you know, the strong is how you survive. But that wasn't the case. The people, the young children I was with, we somehow came together, and we didn't want to fight each other because we'd
yeah.
already had enough pain in our lives. So yeah,
You came together. Yeah, I understand. So I went to boarding school at age 12. So although it's slightly different, it was still similar,
still the
because
same thing.
you didn't bond and come and join together, you would have, like, you would have, it would have been awful.
Yeah.
But so I was very good at making friends. It was very important to me. Still to this day, my friendships are very important to me, because I would have, you know, it's so important to have that bond, because to get you through it, because you do feel like you've been abandoned, you know,
Yeah.
even, you know, something like that. But I can't comprehend how somebody can, and I'm so sorry that you went through
Oh,
that.
you know, I
It
love
just
my dad.
surprised me. As a number nine, you hear that so much. I've not heard so much about men number nine stories. I've heard the women, and very often they were beaten, they were or sexually abused, or and it's not always by the like the parents, it could be like a sibling. It's it seems more than other numbers I've noticed over the 8 years. Like it's something I'm mentally keeping a note of. Yeah, and
It's that forgiveness. I'm telling everyone that, there's 135 watching us. It is about forgiveness.
it would destroy you, Wayne, and your life would have probably been on, and you may have had your time, because I've heard you say at one time you were probably angry. You would have just destroyed your life and probably ruined your life if you carried on the hate or lack of forgiveness. So it's good.
Yeah.
The fact you've forgiven your father is amazing, because not many people would. So hopefully I'm getting quite emotional.
No, he's a good man. And I think so often people who've lost their way will strike out, verbally, physically, emotionally.
Yeah.
And what it is that it's a cry for help.
Yeah.
And at some point, our species is going to have to begin to see, like if I was taught at the age of 5 that I was a life 9, think about, Trisha, what that could do for an individual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I teach my son about it. He knows his numerology. He asks for readings. Like he's got lots of 4s in his chart, and I will get back to Sherry in a minute. He's got 3 4s in his chart, which is all about financial security. It's very ruled by Capricorn. It's structure. He needs structure. He's not somebody that likes chop and change all the time. And apparently his children, I was told this many years ago, a 4 child is not a child that should be going backwards and forwards between 2 parents. If he's going to go, because obviously I left his dad, he'd need to go maybe at main holidays and keep the continuity with me, because I had full custody the rest of the time. Going forward back or shared custody would have been the worst thing for him. Now another child would have probably embraced that, maybe a 3 or a 5. They would be able to cope with that. But 4s do not like sudden change. They do not like. So yeah, I feel it's really important to look at what your child's. I just hear so many people take it personally what their children are doing, and then when we look at their numerology, I'm like, this isn't personal. Your child's creative, and you're trying, and they listen. You're trying to make your child sit still, and they're a creative one. They need to be actively creative, and you're trying to make them something they're not. Or they're a leader, and you're trying to suppress their leadership.
Think about how much anger we could reduce if the parental unit, understood to the child that they gave birth to, understand the uniquenesses of this child, and begin. Think about this. What you just gave me was this download I just saw, is that we could begin to eliminate so much of the conflict that parents and children have, because I think, like you just said, the parent doesn't know. And they're trying to fashion the kid after themselves.
My son's life path number is actually alien to me. As a 9 and a 4 are alien to each other. Now, if I'd not, we have total different outlooks on life, but we've got other numbers that are compatible. So if I'd not known about this, I think our relationship would be very different.
Yeah.
We wouldn't probably get on as well, as because I'd be trying to make him like me. He'd be trying to be, he's very much about. He's a whiz at finances. He's very up on cryptocurrency.
Well, to have him on the show, guide the rest of us.
Honestly, we have opened an account and we're sort of doing it together as a joint venture. We're dabbling in, a bit of cryptocurrency.
You're going to do very well. I can just tell anyone right now, it's going, if you get it even now, you're looking at exceptional returns. So anyway, I digress.
Yeah. So, but that's something he enjoys. So that's got him involved in something and I've given him the response. It's a joint thing, but he's keeping his eye on it and we keep our eye on it. And,
listen, there's another person who I've encouraged who really understands and has the gift in the cryptocurrencies. And so, listen, we may put together a panel and ask your son if he may like to be a part of it. Because, you know, everyone is talking. That let me tell you, folks, this is where it's heading. In fact, I read an article today in Barron's about your country, Trisha. They're saying in 5 years, you folks are going to be cashless.
Wow. And I very rarely have cash on me now already. I use my bank cards.
Yeah.
I do online. I do everything online. I pay for my food shopping online. I virtually never have cash on me already.
That's my point, folks.
Yeah.
It's coming. You and I continue today. You know what? Will you come back on Friday night?
Yeah, I said I would. Yeah, you'll have
okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. So, folks, because we're obviously chatting much more than we are reading.
Yeah, sorry. I need to
go. But no, listen. I think that's how the energy is flowing. I don't find any of this because I don't. You know, you and I don't plan these. We don't go ahead of time. So this is how the energy flow is going, and there's obviously people who need to hear this. And listen, I can't stress it like you were saying. As myself, let me just tell you how I look at it. As a life path 9, I think this is my last time through. And if I hadn't figured out the forgiveness part, and it ain't been easy, Trisha. It ain't been easy. As Ringo Starr says, it ain't easy, as you know.
And we are both this year going, just to blow your mind a bit more, we're going to be in a year 9. A personal year 9, so which is all about forgiveness. So when you might be feeling it now because some work January to January. So anybody listening, if you're in a year 9, but we're both obviously we've got the same birthday. So come June, we are in a year 9 of forgiveness. And I know a lot has happened in my life in the last 3 years. Huge family, and it is family forgiveness is a big one.
Yeah.
You know, I had to cut my mother out of my life just over a year ago. I never envisaged that was ever going to happen in my life. But I had to do it at the time. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. You know, after my father passed away. And so, yeah, I'm sure this number 9 energy, I've got, you know.
I can sense it. I really can. I mean.
So, yeah, we're both going to be in a year. We're coming into a year 9. So,
well, it's about time. But
in a global year 11, in a personal year 9 is, again, the opportunity for big, you know, like going to another level.
I think Heidi was the one who also said something's coming, buddy. She says, I'd like to be around you. And I just, you know, you and I share the same birthday. In fact, we're not that far apart when we actually are entering our butts into this world. But so to speak, that's Texas slang.
Oh, and she said to let you know Friday. Yes. Just
okay. Friday is Friday, 7:00 my time, way freaking early for her in the morning or really late at night. So
it's going to be 7 p.m. your time, yeah?
Yes, ma'am. Right. Okay, so let's get on to another one. Rick, did you finish up with Sherry?
Sorry, I'll just finish up with Sherry. And I got sent these as well for all the way from Hawaii. I don't know, you can probably get them in the UK, but a lovely lady who's a watcher and a client sent me these Lenormand cards.
Oh, cool.
They're called the Fairy Tale Lenormand. So I might pull a card for everybody that has a reading as well. She sent me a beautiful handmade card from Hawaii.
Wow.
These are only little ones. Wow. Normally come bigger than this, but I'm going to use these as well.
Those are beautiful.
It's so sweet that somebody thought of me to send me a gift, which is really nice. So yeah, Sherry, she's a life 9. She's an attitude number 9. So she's got 2 9s. I only have 1. Like, I think Wayne and I'm using Wayne as an example just to give you an idea. So this lady's got at least 2 9s. So she's going to be very humanitarian. I read for a lady last night, another number 9, you know, and a Gemini like Sherry is. Same sort of experience. I wouldn't be surprised if she's been through some stuff herself. Hopefully if she hasn't learned to forgive, it will manifest in illness. And I'm not predicting she's going to be ill, but this is where we need to forgive because it will manifest in illness eventually, or pains in our body. So this lady's got a 3 birthday, so I feel she's going to be extremely creative. And creativity comes, when you've got 3s, there's 3 ways. There's like the art form, like the lady you had on last night. Like, I loved her energy, Daisy.
Yeah, Daisy.
So there's the physical of like painting, drawing, or there's the vocal creativity, or there's the ideas, when you're very creative with your ideas. So when you've got a 3, there's 3 different types. Because some people say to me, but I can't paint, I can't draw. But yeah, they've got very creative ideas. So it's like, try not to think of it just painting and drawing. So Sherry's in a personal year 11, in a global year 11. This is, and I predicted this last year, anybody with an 11 year, an 11 life path number, like Jeff, who's in 11 life path, is a massive opportunity for you to really ascend, to really do the personal development, Sherry, if you're not doing it already. Listen, surround yourself with people like Wayne, or anybody that resonates with you, that's positive, that's teaching you. Don't hang around with those negative Nellies, because you're not going to ascend around. And that goes for all of us, but some people more than others.
Yeah.
That color of cards. So these are very different. They're not tarot and they're not oracle cards. It's actually, when you use them properly, you lay them out in nines again.
Nines.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I'm not going to go obviously that deep, because obviously it would take longer. So she has got the card of the gentleman. I don't know if you can see it. They're normally bigger than, they vary. I don't know if the light. It's just the card of the gentleman. So they have they've got the ace of hearts there, and it's the number 28. That could mean that there's, to me, when I look at that intuitively, maybe a man coming in a life, because the ace of hearts for me is like a new beginning. I don't read the playing cards, but that's just where I'm going with it. And 28 is a number 1. So it could be, and it could be that he's from overseas. I'm really drawn to that, because these cards are very different to what I've used before. It's like a Chinese man. I'm not saying you're going to meet a Chinese man, but there's new beginnings, and it could involve a gentleman to do with love. Let's pull one more card.
Excellent. Wow. That's cool.
And the card of the lady, look, the ace, look at that. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's the lady,
beautiful.
The ace of clubs, and it's the 29. So to me, that's 1 and 2, it's yin and yang. If you haven't got a relationship coming in, Sherry, I'd be surprised.
I love this. You see?
I've used Lenormand cards before, but not this deck. I've literally just
Well, let's do another one then. Let's say Rick, May 12th, 1968.
Okay.
I love this. You see, this is just affirmation after affirmation. And maybe Sherry will write and let us know,
Yeah. So, okay. So 14, 15.
I just want to say to Chris Gamble, excuse me, listen, one of the things I've learned about at the Pentagon and at the Federal Reserve folks has a whole department of seers, psychics. Do you know that they make their predictions to the markets according to the full moon cycle and where the stars are at that time? Folks, this is real. So, Chris, what I'm trying to tell you, yes, billionaires do this. You know why they're billionaires? They know something you don't.
Billionaires use astrology.
Folks, the world leaders go back all the way to the Sumerian tablets. All right. Sorry, Trish, I'll get off my...
No, but that is true. Billionaires apparently do use astrology. So that's probably why they're billionaires.
It's exactly why they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be a billionaire, everybody's got the capacity. It's there for you. It's just whether you've got it in you to go for it. And
listen, the company I'm starting, let me tell you why the company is going to be so successful, Trish, is because the logo of our company is that we see things the others don't.
Be interesting to see what the name, I mean, you don't have to say it, but...
I already got the name. The name of the company is Spirit Tip.
Spirit Tip. Afterwards, I'll look at the name number for Spirit Tip.
I never did that. It was, and I'll give Miss Jennifer Collins, talking to her about it. So I'll have to tell her that she already knows is that name came up in our conversation, Spirit Tip.
Okay, I'll do the name number after the show.
Okay, so anyway, that's what I'm saying, folks. This is amazing stuff. Well, listen, I worked for the Federal Reserve as a consultant. My specialty was debit card usage. Um, and when I learned that this is how the Board of Governors begins to do how they look at increasing or decreasing interest rates, they're looking at the charts, Trisha.
Wow.
All right. So, Rick.
Okay, Rick. So he's a life path number 5. So I'm going to use examples of people that might know. So Rex, for example, if anybody watched Rex on Leap Project.
Rex is a 5, huh?
5. So life path number 5s need to teach the use of, he's a classic 5. He definitely.
I love that guy. Rex Bear, I know you're watching. We love you.
Yeah, my father was a 5. They can sell ice to Eskimos, and it's not because they've been sneaky. It's they have the charisma, the charm, the gift of the gab. It's Heidi and I were talking about this, and we think it's more Leo. Like 3 is like a Gemini. We're thinking of the houses and the star signs. So 5 is very Leo-like. If you were to put a star sign to it.
Okay, cool deal.
So they need to be in the public eye. 3, 5s, and 9s are people that need to be in the public eye, either on stage, speaking, whether it's YouTube, radio. This guy needs to be, Rick needs to be, if he's not already out there, he needs to be teaching what he knows and speaking it. It's the 5th chakra, the throat chakra. He needs to get it out there. The one thing he needs to watch for is when they're younger, they often live to a good age, even though there can be, it's the rebel of numerology. They have to be careful of sex, drink, drugs, rock and roll. They've come here to learn to not abuse sex, drink, drugs, and rock and roll. Very often there's something, my dad loved to gamble, well, he loved to flutter on the horses and stuff. So they need that adrenaline rush. The best thing for them is a lot of exercise.
Ooh, that's
and
cool.
That will reduce the need to get the buzz of something maybe unhealthy.
Cool deal.
They usually love to gamble. They'll try anything once.
Entrepreneurs.
Yeah, they're great in business. They're more the communicators. They're the more like my father was an 8. My father was a 5. My mother was an 8. That's a business relationship. My father was the bringing the work in.
Mm-hmm.
She was the manager, the CEO, the boss. So a 5 is they are the networkers. They are the ones that can bring the work in. If they're a 5 on their own in business, they need someone to help them. They've got to watch with money because people can, they need to be able to trust somebody with their money if they can't, because often, unless they are more grounded themselves, he has got an 8 attitude number, so he may be more grounded with it. So the 8 is the CEO, the boss, the manager. So he has got both those. So he might be able to be okay and manage that without spending. They often love to spend money because they can earn it very well. Yeah. Think Simon Cowell in the UK. He went bankrupt. They very often can go bankrupt, but they've got the ability to
spring right back.
Yeah, I always use him as an example because
I didn't know that. He's a 5.
Yeah, and he's been bankrupt and got back up. And so very sexually magnetic and attractive. There's usually something about them that's very charming. Rick, so
hey Rick. Dude, it sounds like you got it going, man.
Yeah, and I pulled him a couple of cards. So he's in a year closer to May. He's going to a year of new beginnings. He's coming out a year of endings, which is the forgiveness year that we've just been talking about. He's in a year 9 and he's going into a year 1. So this is the time to sow new seeds, start new projects. I went self-employed in a year 1. Doesn't mean to say you're going to do that. You might start a new project. It's a perfect year for him to start something new, and he's got the fish. The fish is it's very hard probably to see this. Like, it's about money. Fish in these cards are about money and finances.
Wow.
Yeah. And they're swimming downstream, which to me is a positive sign. When we go upstream, we're going against the flow of life, apart from salmon go upstream, but this is about going downstream. It's the King of Diamonds. And then he's got the mountain. So this is about having security. He needs like support and security, or maybe he needs it or he's got it.
Those are
Mountain,
cool cards, Trisha.
yeah, they are. And I've got a Cyril Marsetti's got a deck that he made of these. I'll have to use them sometime because they're brighter colours. They might show up better on the light. But yeah, they're very different, and I'm just reading them intuitively. But they do have meanings to the cards.
That
But
is
like
excellent.
they're not tarot.
I love this. By the way, someone said, what's my opinion of the Fed? Hey, listen, the Fed is, let me just put it this. If it was a gang of five, those dudes are it. So anyway, moving on along. We got one time for one more, Heather. 6, that'd be June. Oh, she's a Gemini. Or no, maybe she's not. She's a can. What I am not trying. Let me get this out. June 25th, 1975.
So in Western, she's a Cancerian. In Vedic, she would be a Gemini.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so 12. So she's an 8 life path number. So just talking about 8, 7.
Wow. And Chris, I wasn't pointing you out, dude. I was just trying to show you, man. It's these cats, they know. And they train us through our religious indoctrination to reject this. And then the wealthy use it so that they can continue to get wealthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Trisha, this is the point, Chris. This is why we're coming together. We're going to learn this collectively together. The talents that people such as Trisha G, who comes on here and expands our awareness that we need to know this stuff. And it's worth paying for.
I know astrologers that are doing, and Vedic astrologers that are doing webinars now on cryptocurrency to teach you.
Listen, we're entering, I just want to say this before we get to Heather.
Yeah.
We're entering into a time that I have never seen. I've been in the markets for decades, and I got to tell you, Trisha, I have never seen, to give you a point in case, we hit 25,000 Dow only 9 trading days ago. We hit 26,000 Dow this morning. This is unprecedented. If you're not feeling the positive vibration, because it's like this, it rains both on the good and the bad. And this positive vibration is seeping places, folks, that, well, anyway, I think it'd be wise, Trisha, if they knew about what their numbers were and taking advantages. Rick, I dig it, man. You are on. I think that's the coolest thing I've heard. I want you to write us and let us know. So anyway.
About the Fed, as Fed is in the federal, like to do with money, or Feds is in police.
Yeah, it's just the fact that, it's terrible that they set up a quasi corporation that somehow prints our money and then loans it to us as they're doing us a favor.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Right. I mean, anyway, I digress.
Okay, so this lady, what did you say she was called? Heather, wasn't she?
Yes, this is Heather.
So Heather's a life path number 8. So her path in life is the CEO, the boss, the manager. They're the workaholics in numerology. So you have to be careful. She's a similar age to me, just a couple of years younger. So if she can learn this now, they're workaholics. And if she's not kept, they have to watch. I've found a health thing with 8s is they can get chronic fatigue. They call it yuppie flu.
Yeah.
And, I know someone's a 888 who was bedbound for 2 years from going for, and this was this is a family member, from building a house in the country, full-time job, to bang, in bed, can't even get out of the house. Because they got, and I'm not saying this lady's going to get that. I've seen it in the men, I've seen it in the women. She got, what do you call it? It's a virus where, like, what do they call it? I can't remember that. It'll come to me in a minute. Like, because if you're a workaholic, which 8s can be, it lowers your immune system because you're working too hard, and then you're prone to the viruses, you see. But if you can balance out that, it's it produces ME eventually, but it comes through as like a cold or a throat infection.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of it. It'll come to me in a minute. And so she has to watch for that. I always warn number 8s, please be careful, because they'll do the job of 2 people and think that that's normal.
Does that also show up in a personal relationship as well? Do 8s also have that tendency in personal relationships too?
Yeah, so say someone like us as 9s, unless the person's humanitarian, we'd struggle. My mother's a triple 8. I'm giving that example. She was the one that was bedbound.
Okay.
And yeah, and to see someone go from, so highly functioning to bedbound was a shock, and it was through getting ill, too many colds and this virus, and it's still evading me, but it'll come afterwards. And then it can go on to be chronic fatigue, they call it. So, and I've seen it in number 8 men as well, that they can go on and get that. But 8s are the hardest to live. I'm not saying this lady's hard to live with. What they have to watch for is then when they go home, they don't carry on the boss, the manager. They try, but they're great in a crisis. You see, everybody has positive traits. They're great in a crisis. She's probably great at managing people. They just have to be careful, because if she's got children or she's married, that can suffer unless you've learned to balance it, or you've got the humanitarian side. She's got a 4 attitude number. It's the worker number. So this lady's got very business numbers in her birthday. She's got
Heather,
7.
you've got to email us and let us know what it is that you do. This is cool.
Yeah, if she doesn't run her own business, she'd be very good at managing someone else's business.
Wow.
They have the ability to generate great wealth. They can lose it, but they've got the ability to bounce back and earn it. They are all about usually work, unless they've got other numbers to balance it out. But in her birthday numbers, it's all about work. So she's in a year 5 going into year 6. So in her year 6, around May, June time, is house, the home, family, marriage, engagement. If anything, if relationships are going well, I don't know if this lady's single or married, but she could, get married, or it go deeper, improve. If things aren't working out, then people can separate. Family may need you more. Like in my 6th year, it was family needed me more. It was about family responsibility, particularly my son. And interestingly, I drew these cards before you even read this date of birth out, and we've got the card of the child.
Wow.
I had
Now I
these
got
out there,
chills.
and the stork.
Look at that.
If you can see that. The
Heather, you've
stork.
got to let us know if you're still. Is this you, Heather Cooper?
So storks can be about new life, babies coming, or a birth of something.
Okay. Wow.
And I actually drew them before you even picked somebody, because I just thought, right, I'm going to put, this is sometimes how I work. I'm going to pull the cards first. So either she's got a child coming in her life, it could be her person. And I don't do pregnancy predictions per se, because for legal reasons, I have to be careful of that. Or it's the birth of something. But the fact you've got the child card, yeah, it'd be very interesting.
Wow, wow, wow. All right, we got time for one more. All right, this is LM. Their birth date is December 10th, 1969.
Sagittarius and Geminis, that's our opposite sign, Sagittarius, and in astrology. 10, 16. My son's a Sagittarius. 10, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 10. So LM is a life path number, master number 11. So 2, 3, 4. Okay. So you've come here to spread spiritual enlightenment. You've come here to show people the world is a better place. You think 11 is 2 1s together, so you can be very independent. Often 11s, a lot of the royal family, whether you like them or not, in the UK are actually master number 11 twos. I'm a bit of a geek and I went through all their numerology and they're all nearly 11 twos.
Wow.
Yeah, interesting. And Prince William is 11 2 and he lost his mother at a young age. So often, I'm not saying you're going to lose someone through death, but it can be you're abandoned or you've got to be the adult at a very young age. 11 twos can be. I say 11 2 because if you don't raise your vibration high enough, you'll live at the level of a 2, which there's nothing wrong with that. But master numbers, if you don't raise your vibration high enough, it could. A lot of people want to be master numbers, but it comes with great responsibility.
Yes, yes, yes.
Easy. So, yeah, it's in fact the last president was an 11 2, and his wife was.
Obama?
Obama was an 11.
And Michelle, how about that? Did not know that.
But
wow.
Like I say, there's, because Heidi asked me, like, is there a weak side to an 11? Yes, there is. And I'm not saying this person's got it. But ideally, what they came supposed to have done was show the world that it can be a better place. But, you know.
Yeah, well, the best of plans, right?
Yeah. But
that's interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, they're easily swayed. So you have to be careful with like psychic sponges. What I often see with 11 twos is I'm like, they've been easily swayed. They're like, this is not them. They're doing this because other people want it.
Sure.
So that possibly could have been going on there.
Wow.
Yeah, they're very intuitive, very sensitive. They're like psychic sponges. They need to be able to assert themselves. That's one of their biggest life lessons. They're the most loving life path numbers when they've been positive.
It's really interesting how you say that, you know, it's an opportunity for ascension. And it really goes again to showing that free will. You know, if you decide you're going to do that, and listen, my political view is that Obama wasted a lot of political capital that he could have made a major change on the world and just, you know, unfortunately let it zip by. But it's a lesson for all of us.
It is. And I don't normally get involved in politics, and some people are going to probably troll me for this. I think Donald Trump, and I predicted he was going to get in. I said time and time again, this is something me and Heidi bond on. I predicted 7 months before he would get in, purely on his numerology. And I feel I just feel more drawn to him than I did Barack Obama.
The man has an energy about him that
he's a Gemini.
Yeah, I know. But he has got this energy that I pity the poor fool who tries to come against it, because it's like the universe is against you, man, if you go against this dude. And
he's a life path 4, so he's come here to bring structure, jobs. He's very much about money. He's got the same life path number as my son. So I believe that is what he truly wants to do for America.
I think love or hate him. Listen, if the economy is good, everybody is going to benefit from it. You know, when I read today, do you know what Los Angeles is going to do for the homeless situation that there is no answer that it seems that the government has? Is now they're going to be buying storage containers and converting those into living units, which I think is fine. I think that's good. Any person that can have a roof over their head. But the problem is it's not addressing the core issue. Yeah. We are. Imagine. Yeah. Oh, I'll have to talk to you after about this. I just thought of something. So anyway.
Just to conclude for Heather. No, not Heather.
LM.
So they're in a year 5, because their birthday is not till December. This is the year to magnetize people to you, to network, to mix, to mingle. It can be that this person wants to travel a lot. Sagittarians, I'm talking Western here, often do like to travel. Towards the end of the year, they're going into the year 6. The house, the home, family, marriage, engagement, family responsibility. So it doesn't mean to say you're going to get married. It might be family need you more, things like that. But I have got, I don't know if LM is a man or a woman, but we've got the gentleman card again.
Uh-huh.
So he's holding, it's a cup up. So it's the Ace of Hearts, and we've got the key, 33. So like maybe that's the key to your heart.
Love is in the air.
Key to a door, maybe, you know. Obviously, these are just like mini readings. Like, this is just
I like that deck. I'm attracted to that thing. Cycling, I'm pulled to. That is cool.
that card.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a beautiful card, that one.
Isn't that one? Wow.
Yeah.
That gives me the warms and fuzzies.
I'm feeling a key to somebody's heart rather than a key to a door.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah, that's what I see.
be a
Yeah,
key to the
that's
door,
what
but
I
I'm
kind of
feeling a
sense.
key to somebody's heart.
Hey, listen, being in love, there's nothing better.
I agree.
I agree. I mean, listen, you're never too old.
Yeah, and I'm
And
ready
I
to
got to
be.
tell you, Trish G, you are one beautiful woman, and why the guys are not tearing down the doors, I don't know. You know what I think it is? I think the problem most men become very concerned about if the woman is psychic.
Oh yeah, since like I get asked out a lot, and it's not like me, but I've not met anybody yet for a long time that I feel I could commit to,
Yeah.
because I'm not about the surface level. You know, when people get to know me, I'm quite deep. I might hide, you know, if you get below
Yeah.
in there, but you know, it's got to be. I'm not about the surface stuff, and I've learned a lot, and I need someone that can accept when I do this, that it can trust me. You know, I'm not going to be out chatting
Exactly.
to blokes and things like that. But you know, I have love for my cat, for my son from now. But yeah, you know,
And
the
I
right
love your cat. I just have to say that cat, him and I connected, you know,
she's a
she,
she.
well, I don't cheat, but so
But do you know, we adopted her. This is another law of attraction thing, manifestation quickly. We have wanted another cat for years. We've always had cats, and we couldn't have one when we were living with our parents. And we're like, we're getting a cat as soon as we get our own place. Within 2 weeks, my neighbor says, "Can you have my cat? I need to rehome her." Like, we didn't even need to leave the front door, and we had a cat.
all right, lesson there. You know what that tells me, Trisha? It shows that we can get to a place where the universe will provide.
Yeah, absolutely.
God, we got to get into that. I
But you've
mean,
got to get out your own way. When you try to think, how am I going to do this? Where are we going to do it? Like, when, how, you're blocking it.
all right, you're coming back Friday night. I promise you, folks, I won't talk so much, but this was good. This was good, Trisha. Just wonderful. I adore you so much. You're just a gift to all of us, and um, you're always welcome here. I'll see you here Friday night. Let people know your YouTube channel. Come on, we need to boost up her channel, and let's get some people excited here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just under my name. It'll either be Trisha G or Trisha Gelder.
Okay.
Just Google that. But yeah, the numbers are climbing, which is great. But you know, I'm just loving the community. When I go live in my, because I do live readings like this in my channel, we virtually have zero trolls.
Yeah, I mean,
Everybody's lovely. It's probably 1% now and again. Everybody's so lovely, and I'm grateful for that. We don't have any of that drama. So
it's expanding. And that's what I think we find out here is that it's love, it's forgiveness. Yeah, you can say that that sounds new ageish or cornish, whatever. It's a fact of life, though.
love heals. Love is what, you know, there's just to leave you this, the scale of consciousness, love or above is where you will manifest, where you'll have a better life. Love is at about 500. If you can, and they say, I think the average American vibrates at 200 and something.
Yeah, that's true.
So 500 and above, and you will, yeah, your life will be abundant, let's say, in many ways, not just about money.
Well, I'll I love that. And I'll just quote Daisy on here when she said, "Man, we can't ride on the negative highway. We got to get off that negative highway, and we've got to, if it's even plowing our own path."
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
Miss Trisha, thank you. Thank you, everyone in the chat room. Y'all are the best. Listen, it's an honor and a privilege. This is a healing process for me every time, Trisha, I'm on with you. I'm with in the chat room. Is it's at times I will get up after one of our live shows, and you just feel the emotion.
I felt quite emotional tonight. I think I felt it from you as well. Like, yeah, I felt it tonight.
Well, You're a good soul. So I'll see you Friday along with everyone else. All right, folks, be kind to one another. We love you.